Okay, welcome everyone to this channeling with Ashira, and it is September the 7th, 2022. And let's jump right into the meditation. There's a meditation that goes along with this channeling, so let's listen to it first.
You all know the drill. Begin to relax and feel yourself sinking into your chair or the bed or the floor, your car seat, your office seat, wherever you are. Feel that you've just put this beautiful pink cotton candy cocoon around you so that you're in your sacred space. So no matter where you are, and we use the pink cocoon because pink is the energy that our star brothers and sisters are cocooning us in at the moment and penetrating all of Gaia, all the kingdoms, and each of us. So let's begin by taking a nice deep breath of that cotton candy pink. Of that pink of a summer sunset. Of the pink rosy cheeks of a child at play. Breathe in the pink and feel the beauty, the gentleness, and the strength. Let go of the weak. Let go of your to-do list. And simply give yourself the gift of this time for you. Anchor in your heart, in your beautiful tri-flame of blue diamond, of pink diamond, of yellow diamond, and feel that. And you can also feel it as if it is 3 magnificent roses. And the stems of those roses are intertwined, braided. So feel yourself anchored in your heart, but also going down the braided stem, sinking to the bottom of your heart, to the seat of your soul, and going down to your Halion chakra, the base of your rib cage. And this is your connection to your star brothers and sisters, to your star seed self. All of us have traveled the galaxies, the universe, the multiverse. Feel that energy of the Halion, of the mint green, of the Electra, Pleiadian blue, of the electric blue, of the French ashen blue, and feel that spiral that comes out of your chakra and stretches out into the universe out into the Milky Way. It's beautiful. Breathe the scent of mint and breathe the air of deep space. Feel yourself beginning to travel on this magnificent Halion spiral, anchored still in your heart, but free to travel and bilocate. Feel yourself going through the roof of your home or your office or your car, up through the blue ceiling of the sky, into the midnight blue cloak of the Divine Mother, traveling, and you see, yes, there are a million stars, but there are also a million ships. And you know today that you are going to the ship that you think of as home. And it can be any ship you wish, but spot it as if it is signaling to you, and direct your Halion spiral towards your ship. Keep going. Further, extend those wings. And feel yourself landing on the reception dock and the loading dock, where two of your beloved friends or family, or perhaps your sacred partner, is standing there waiting for you, anxious for your return. Hug each other. Hug each other and feel the warmth. Feel the love that exists between you and that has always existed between you. Feel the heart connection. No walls, no barriers. Just a welcome home. And see and feel the doors to the ship open as you begin to walk down the hall with your two friends and beloved ones, one on each side. Perhaps your star mentor. And decide today where you wish to go with them. To your chamber, to the gathering place, to the healing chambers. Just follow your heart. Go and enjoy as you come to know your star brothers and sisters, your family, more deeply, and to share that love.
Okay. So, welcome Lillian again. Okay. This is a channeling with Ashira, commander of UFARC, from back in May the 6th, 2014. And we're almost to the end of this series. We have one more after this one. We've done, this is number 8 so far with our galactic family. And so let's just get started. Ashira says, greetings, I am Ashira, commander of the unified forces of the outer galaxies. Welcome, my beloved friends, brothers and sisters, all. Yes, for even the most grounded, rooted, consistent Earth Keeper is welcome this day. For all, are we all not one? Yes, I have nudged both Linda and Suzanne to speak to you about the law, because it is important that you begin to understand not merely the practical application and use in your life, in your creations, in your day-to-day existence, but that you also come to realize that it is universally used. It is our reference point. It is our way of existence. It is our way of interacting, of creating, of communication. So by you accepting, each of you accepting more of this codification, these precepts into your life, into the practical application of your life, you raise your frequency and we become closer, and nothing could make us happier. The human laws, not all of them, but many of the human laws have come out of your old system of the old third dimension. So they are based on control, guilt, blame, shame, fault, punishment, judgment. They are not a system that allows and supports for the fullness of existence. It has truly been more of a system to keep people in control. Yes, and in many situations to protect and to defend human from human. Now, I do not need to say anything more because it is self-evident what that kind of system reflects, does it not? When you work, play, engage, invoke universal law, what you are doing is also engaging with the totality of your divinity, of your potential, of your ability to create. But it is done in cooperation and consideration of the collective, of all the collective. So for example, we do not do or take action, and this is something that has often not been understood. We do not take actions or create situations, or for that matter, objects, we will talk about that as well, that would create conflict, confrontation, discord among the people of Gaia. So he's talking about our star family will not do or take action. The same way we would not take action or do something that would interfere with the creation, with the belief systems, or the cultural aspects of CCC or Sirius or the Pleiadian sector. Archangel Michael has encouraged you to think of or reminded you of a very universal statement. What would love do? We modify this in a very practical way. Does it serve? Does it help? Does it hinder? Does it hurt? Does it assist in the creation of what we are wishing to experience, or does it block? We follow these rules of behavior because that is all codification of law is that we follow it to maintain peace, and it is peace within, peace on board, peace with other galaxies or other planets or other species. It is so simple and it is so fundamental, and when it is embedded, and I do not mean artificially embedded, I mean when it is deeply embedded in your mind and in your heart consciousness, it is an automatic way of operating, of thinking. It is that pause in the question that is always present. Now, when we behave in this way, it is in adherence to the body, to the spirit of universal law. Sanat Kumara is not merely the keeper of higher law or paradigm for Gaia, for Earth, for the human race. He is the keeper of the law. Throughout the multiverse, he has taught, he has shown, he has demonstrated, he has anchored this understanding of how to live in accordance and alignment with the law. And the reason that we all have followed suit is because it makes us happier. We do not feel in any way manipulated or controlled or less than. If anything, when you begin the practice of adherence, yes, it is a spiritual practice with a very practical application. It makes us more creative. It allows us to maintain peace, and it gives us the broader perspective, not only of who we are, but who we have been and who we are becoming. It is not only you, the collective of humanity, that is progressing, we all are. It has been mentioned on this InLight Radio, various programs, that Gaia continues her process of ascension, and so my beloved ones, so do you, and so do we. Now we are here not only to witness, but to participate, to support, to assist in your ascension through the portal, and you are ready. Yes, there is a little more work to be done, but you would be surprised just how eager you are. And I'm not merely speaking to you who are listening, I'm speaking to the mother in the wilds of Borneo or the streets of Calcutta, in the mayhem of Venezuela or the Ukraine or Syria. So often you have said to each other, to the company of heaven, to your guardians and to us, I am so tired, I am exhausted. And yes, you are given the explanation that is due to the complete impact of all the energies that you are downloading and integrating as part of this upgrade, shall we say, and the letting go of the old. Part of it, my beloved friends, is you are tired of the old, and that is why we say the mothers, the fathers, the children, all over the planet, they may not know exactly what lies ahead, the ins, the outs, the spiritual, or even the scientific explanation, but what they do know is they are tired of the way things are. They are tired of war, they are tired of poverty, of not having enough food or clean water for their families. They are tired of lying in huts and wondering whether there will be violence or attack, whether their home will be there in the morning. They are tired of living in fear. They are tired of outside forces that tell them what to think and feel. Humanity is tired. That is one of the reasons we send the pink. It is to comfort you, to give you solace, to calm you down, to reinforce you. Surrender is never to us. Let us be very clear. We are not interested in your surrender. What we are interested in is you surrendering because you are so tired that you know there has to be a different way. And we know because we have been there. We have been through this. When we say that we are the unified forces of the outer galaxies, how did we come to this place of being unified from distant, far reaches of the universe? We are unified because a very, very, very long time ago, we got tired and we said to the company of heaven, just as you are, there has to be a better way. We cannot continue in this way. And the tools were given to us. And in so many ways, my beloved ones, they are exactly the same tools that you are being given. Enter Sanat Kumara with the universal laws so that we could begin to reconstruct societies, behaviors, what you would think of as institutions and systems, which we mostly have gotten rid of, but of ways that work, ways that are reflective of love. Why did we choose love? Not because of some scientific understanding, some technological understanding that love is the essence of the universe, that it is the core of everything. We chose love because it made us feel better, that it enriched our sense of self, our families, our communities, our ability to go forward in ways that we were blind to previously. Love is the core of universal law. It is the core of everything. You use universal law to understand how to create, how to proceed, how even to think and consider yourself. That is what we do. And given any situation, we refer consciously and sometimes even in a very formalized matter, particularly at the Intergalactic Council, we refer to the laws as one body, but also the particular laws. For example, we have used the law of balance, of sacred purpose, of change, a great deal in not only formulating our approach to our interaction and our communion with you, with Gaia, with coming to Earth, so that it would not ever harm you or create fear, but rather to complement. So let us use a practical example. The sacred purpose of Gaia is to be a planet of love and form in the richness of physicality. The sacred purpose of every single human being is to become and to be the embodiment of love, of divinity, of creation, of ascension in physicality on Gaia, interdimensionally right now, not 2,000 years from now, not even 5 years from now. Ascension is a process. You are thinking that it is one quantum leap and you're done. That is not so. Your sacred purpose of every person, do not judge, do not start to quantify who is Illuminati, who is Cabal, who is in containment, who is not interested, who is the religious right, who is the fanatic. Every person on your planet, billions and billions, all came with the fullness of their soul design, with the sacred soul purpose to be part of this ascension and shift. Now, from our perspective, that is phenomenal. It is phenomenal, especially given the bloody history of very recent years, and we consider centuries recent, by the way. Now, our sacred purpose is to assist in this. We have traveled from very far to be part of this and to be part of the assistance for the domino effect throughout the planetary systems. So what he's talking about here, as our planet ascends and we reside more and more in the higher dimensional ways, then there's other planets that would like for this to happen for their planet as well. So now you begin to see, we invoke this law of sacred purpose to activate Gaia, to activate ourselves, to activate you, and they are in alignment. So we say to the universe, to the Mother, Father One, we invoke this law, we ask for the help of Sanat Kumara and all of his league to bring this to the forefront right now, that everybody begins to become conscious of this. We invoke the law of change. Change is constant, you know that. With every breath, you have just changed your entire body, but we invoke the law of change with you and for ourselves to manage the changes. It is not just you who are going through the changes. It is a massive change for us. We have been on ship for a very long time, and it has been a contained environment. We have spoken of that. Now we are saying we want an open system. We have already begun our changes. We have millions on planet Earth. We have many humans back and forth, back and forth. We want an open door policy, yet we have to maintain peace. So we invoke the law of change for you, for Gaia, to be able to accommodate these changes in a peaceful, flowing manner, to accept us, for us to be able to flex with these changes, because it changes not only your society, but ours as well. Do we want it? Desperately, because it is tied to our sacred purpose, but it has need to be done in ways that are in accordance with love. So we will not take any movements that will threaten governments. That is why so often plans have changed at the last moment, but we, with you, invoke this law of change. So you'll notice that I put the colors of the laws. They correlate with the chakras actually. So sacred purpose is red, change is connected to the umbilical. So it's that almost, it's between yellow and orange. And you'll see as I do them, you'll see the different colors. So Ashira says, so I could go on and on, but I want you to be able to ask your questions, dear Suzanne. And Susie says, thank you, Ashira, welcome. I really hope that our listeners can feel what I feel, because even though we've done this now 6 times, I always forget how it is. And it just seems to be getting stronger, that when you come on the air, I get filled. I'm so emotional. I have tears leaking down my face because I'm feeling all the love. So I really hope our listeners can feel that, because if they do, if they could, there just wouldn't be any doubt about what you're saying and who you are and about any of this. There is so much love here. I'm glad that we are revisiting the universal laws because there's so very much information here to absorb. As we've discussed already, it was never meant to be fully taken in at that time. When they first channeled the laws back in 2013, there was a lot of information that came in. So she's saying it wasn't a strictly educational event, and what you were saying about what to let go of. So now she's talking about her own training. She says, in my training in Peru, they have an expression there. Can you grow corn with it? And if not, to let it go. The universal laws, there are some that have a seemingly magical aspect for us to shift our perceptions of things into what we are really capable of, because some of these things really do seem like magic and a far departure from anything we've ever been told that we can do. So I appreciate you coming here for this. Every day I renew my commitment to be in service and to offer myself and my physiology to move all of us along. And in asking for that acceleration, I don't think we really know what we're asking for and what it will feel like. So before I go on to my questions, have you got any comments about that? And Ashira said, it is so much more than you are hoping and dreaming of. When I have said, and I have not said it in any way that was meant to be disrespectful, but that people are tired. So for many, they think, if I just didn't have to struggle and fight anymore, my world would be wonderful. But it is so much more. We don't always paint the full picture of the cities of light or Nova Earth, because in some ways it will simply sound like a fairy tale, but it is not. It is magnificent. And there is this inner knowing that each of you has, and it is what we would call a future memory that you know. That is what keeps you going, and it is what keeps us going. And Susie says, what seems most noticeable in my life right now is that people I love are experiencing great challenge at seeing their immediate family members suffer and die. Sometimes the physical body deteriorates and sometimes the mental body does, but suffering is suffering, and it is never easy to witness. I'm not sure how well you can relate to these kinds of challenges because you don't have them, but how would you use universal law to achieve some level of peace in seeing our loved ones in pain? And Ashira says, we don't have what you think of as suffering, but we certainly witness it and we understand it. In our, what you would think of as our emotional fields, because we love you so much, we witness suffering in a very grand scale and we feel it, so we do understand. Now, there are a number of ways, but the easiest way is invoking the law of balance. The law of balance is including the balance of above and below, or what you would think of as within and without. Above, and now we are talking in the higher realms, and yes, even higher dimensions, but also what people conceive or refer to as heaven, or what we would call the heart of one. There is no pain, there is no deterioration, there is no aging. It's very simple. And if you look without in the broader universe, or even to the without to your fuller energy field, which you may not comprehend, that might be a subject for another time, but there is none of that suffering. When you invoke, call upon Sanat Kumara, call Raj, have him show up directly in front of you, let him show you his scales of justice. So Sanat Kumara, one of the gifts that he carries is this golden scales of balance that Ashira is calling his scales of justice, and invoke balance. And invoke balance in the person, the individual, the situation that you feel is suffering, and within yourself because it is affecting you. You are suffering because you are witnessing suffering. Then he says, then invoke the law of change. So the first thing he said was invoke the law of balance. Now he's saying, then invoke the law of change. Invoke that law that allows situations to change. Change does not need to be an elongated process. Change can occur, and you be specific, in the blink of an eye. Change is simply another way of talking about instantaneous transmission or transmutation, because that what is happening is that you are changing the energy. So I put the fourth eye and the third eye there, the Graelsha and the magenta amethyst of the fourth and the third eye, because when our perceptions change in the blink of an eye, we're literally opening the fourth eye and the third eye to see as the higher realms see. So change can definitely happen. I've witnessed it in myself in the blink of an eye. Instantaneous transmission can be invoked, and that's what happens. Our perception changes so that we see, and here I've written the non-judgment of self or others, the truth of our being, compassion for self and others, who we truly are. So that's what he's talking about. And it doesn't take much for our perception to actually change. Okay, and then he says, what does it really mean? It means that you're severing one path or string of existence and starting a new one. So the sense is literally, I cut off the polio and I install perfect genetic material so you can walk again and be pain-free. I invoke instantaneous transmission. So there he is talking that can happen very, very quickly. I'm not sure that we're there yet, but instantaneous transmission is more that you are cutting the string or the cord or the situation. And then he's talking here about transmutation. You hold the situation or the person in your hands, you will feel it. We do this all the time. So you invoke or you transmute it. Transmutation is that you are taking the energy as if it is Play-Doh, and you are shifting it from an ugly blob into a beautiful sphere. You are transmuting the energy and bringing it into its true form, to what it truly, not only what it was intended to be, but it can be, because pain and suffering is not a reflection of the mother. So it's really good practice to experiment with these laws and see that some situations can take a little longer to transmute or transform, but they do work. I've been working with them now for a good 8 or 9 years, and some really amazing things have happened when I use the universal laws. Now, there has been this paradigm of belief that suffering is somehow saintly, and that, dear heart, is not true. It is a denial of the perfection of the mother, her forgiveness, her love of everything, her peace. So Ashira says, let it go. And he says, now, how do I let it go? Invoke the law of elimination. Raj, that's Sanat Kumara, will not let you go awry. Simply let it be gone. You do not need to process for 22 years. Trust me, we have done it and it doesn't serve any purpose. Invoke the law of elimination. And the law of elimination is connected to the third eye. So in the third eye is the knowing of the perfection of the mother, and how we're here to remember that within ourselves, that she forgives everything. We're here to be that non-judgment of self. And in that creates a beautiful higher dimensional way of being. And then he also says, invoke the law of completion, because completion is like the closing of the circle, returning the energy to divine perfection. So when we invoke these laws, it's a really good idea to be in a very quiet place so you can hear the higher dimensional ways coming from the beings on the other side, so that the perception does change. So you really get it and anchor it in. And then Susie says, I imagine that the answer is going to be similar for this one, but there seems to be a population of light workers that are really wavering in their faith. How can we use universal law to help us renew our faith that we aren't delusional about meeting up with you and having our bodies return to a state of health and vitality, or being able to clean up the environment and set things straight with our relationship with nature. These are all things that I would love to participate in, and in some ways I already do. But so far, we are still under the spell of illusion that keeps our perceptions from opening up to see what's already in place. We really are in need of some kind of a break. So would you have any different answer for this issue? And Ashira says, well, what I'm trying to do is show you how different laws can be. Attachment and detachment. This was taught very well by your Buddha. It is to attach to the higher vision, the ideal, and then to detach from the current situation that feels so heavy. It is attaching to your vision and holding your vision, not just the space, not just the dream, but attach to the vision of who you are, what you want, what you wish to have occur, and detach. Again, it is a cutting action. And I've written a loving action. And yes, again, invoke the law of completion. Invoke that it be done. It does not need to take a certain amount of time and space. Do not just do it in terms of humanity. Do it for yourself, because it starts with each person. Okay, so now the law of completion is connected to the crown chakra, and that the crown chakra has all these higher dimensional understandings within. So when we invoke the law of completion, there's a lot of information to that's available. And then Ashira says to invoke, he says to ask, invoke the law of give and receive. And you say, well, I've already given everything I have. And then he says, so then it is out of balance. In invoking the law of give and receive, you open yourself to receiving. So you can see these laws are the balance. So if we're giving, what SK has always said, as you give, you must receive. But in order to receive, we need to open. So just know that it's a balancing that's happening. As we attach to the higher vision, then there's going to be ways to detach from. As we give, we must open to receive. You can see how the laws work. If you don't know which law to use, just invoke universal law and feel as if there is a line of the most brilliant golden light from the heart of one to the gold of Sanat Kumara, down through your crown, down through your brain and your brain stem, down every chakra, your throat, your heart, your root, so that you are in alignment. If you think of it as the I am presence, if you think of it as the heart, the mind, the will of one, then you are in universal law, because it is not right, it is not just, it is not a reflection of the truth of the heart of the light worker, love holder, when they feel defeated. We know you are tired, we are reinforcing you. That is what all these visitations are about. We're only here to help, never to take over, never to suggest that things be done in a certain way, but to support and love you, and hopefully for you to love and support us. It is time for Gaia to be the playground again, not just for the human beings who are on planet, but the way station for many visitors to come and share the bounty, not only of the love of Gaia herself, but of each of you. You are precious to us. And Susie says, you are precious to us as well. I'm just wondering if it's going to be humanity and our unfolding consciousness and abilities that will be able to protect us and the earth in conjunction with you from what's happened from happening again. She says, you know, like we're reaching a golden age and we're coming into our own. And I'm just wondering if the cycle has to continue, that we experience a golden age and we descend again. Is this the last time we have to do this? And Ashira says, there is no requirement for descension. We got rid of that a long time ago. That is old thinking, old paradigm. Think of it. You are on a spaceship back to the heart of one. You don't need to take any U-turns. And he says, go with my love and look for us. Look for us in the supermarkets, the libraries, the schools, the streets. We are with you. And he says, farewell. And that's the end of that channeling. Well, let's just pop right out here. And then we come back. So there was a lot of information in that one. Yes. Anyone have any comments, or did it make it easier to see how he described how to work with universal law? Did it make it a little bit easier to want? Yeah, Steve's nodding his head. Okay.
Well, it made it easier, but I'm thinking of doing this myself, or you could do it or whatever, but coming up with some aids for people to, like, for instance, a listing of the universal laws, the 13, and then just a little description of each. Yep. So that I could say, oh my gosh, what law do I need to invoke right now? And just, we need to do more work with the universal laws, make them more accessible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have that. I've done that. So I can print that up. I can put it,
Wonderful.
In the widget with all the recordings.
That'd be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to go through them one by one in 2 weeks. So
good.
Yeah. So, and I'll do slideshows so we can really see what Sanat Kumara is talking about. And the mother, because it's the mother and it's the Buddha and Sanat Kumara who describe them.
It might be the only way I learn them.
Well, you know quite a bit about them already.
Well, it's been so long since I studied it that my knowledge is probably pretty rusty.
Okay. It's a wonderful practice to bring the self into alignment because it's the balancing work. Yeah. I mean, we've had the law of attraction. Mostly everybody has heard something about the law of attraction, but really that's only half of it. That's the blessing side of it, because we attract our creations with the deeper we go into being in gratitude and blessing everything. But at that same time, up comes the old energy, because it's there, the old system, the belief systems, to be repulsed. So the other half of the law of attraction is the law of repulsion.
Right. Same with attachment and detachment.
Exactly. So the more you attach to the highest vision, up is going to come the stuff to detach from. Yeah. So it's an ongoing process. The higher you go into higher dimensionality, the larger your field becomes, and the more we have to be really in alignment, in forgiveness of everything, accepting everything, not just loving everything. It's basically loving everything and blessing everything and being in that state of forgiveness of everything, especially self. And then we're holding the field for so many to come into this, to understand a little bit more about what's happening. And and basically what he said, we don't have to really get it. We don't, the general population. It's mostly for the light workers to be able to hold the field for the ascension process to happen.
And to explain to the others who don't know what's happening.
Yes. And really, I had a long conversation with a friend today, and it's being kind to each other. Being kind to self and being kind to everyone, no matter what journey everyone is on, no matter what. It's sending out blessings, and then more blessings come back, and it just grows and grows and grows and grows. Yeah. If you simplified ascension, it would be nice to your neighbor.
Love your neighbor as I have loved you.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Anyone else have any other comment? Ken, did you want to say anything?
I guess what escapes me is, first of all, when I get really enervated, what can I do to bring my energy back up?
Okay, so feeling like you're really down?
Not necessarily down, exhausted.
Oh, exhausted. Okay, so what Ashira recommended was invoke the law of balance.
Okay.
And then he said the law of change.
Okay.
Yeah. And what you're doing is you're changing the energy back into being more in the heart consciousness. Where there's, in the heart, when we're focused on being in our heart consciousness, there's no exhaustion. There's no, it's like, if we feel it, then we can invoke the law of balance, come back into balance, invoke the law of change so that it changes, so that we come back to the peace, the love, the joy of the heart consciousness. Yes, Steve.
I remember how often I would feel tired, and then I would, for some reason, either because I was in a conversation or just looking at it myself, I would burrow down and get underneath that. And typically when I got the truth of what was happening, I was no longer tired.
Yeah.
And that happened again and again and again and again. So that might be another, thing to do.
Yeah. So what happens when you invoke the law? Sanat Kumara shows up with the scales of balance, and he explains why you're tired. He helps us understand. He helps us understand so that the perception changes. Basically that's why Steve would be very quiet and listen to himself, and it's our higher selves explaining it to us, or Archangel Michael or Sanat Kumara, or so this is when we invoke the laws. It's a really good idea to sit still and listen, because the explanation will come. And
they're often very clever. They don't say what's happening with you is, they don't say that. They say, I wonder if I'm blah, blah, right? So it sounds like it's my thought, right?
Yep.
You remember I said this a number of times, Kathleen, but I caught Saint Germain doing this. When I was walking down the street, he said, I'm going to create an energy bubble. I don't know what an energy bubble is. And I said, who is that? And Michael told me later it was Saint Germain. That's the way they work with us, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So so it's just really sitting still and listening, and the truth comes. It doesn't take very long. It comes, and it will, like what I found too, when you invoke the laws, you're getting into a place where, if a situation that's making or helping contribute to sorrow and exhaustion and depression, it could throw up images from the past to balance, basically.
That might identify the origin of this thing, the image they throw up from the past. Oh my God, that's when it happened.
Yeah. And then if we can be very balanced about the past, so that we come to the place of no judgment about it, that really helps.
Yeah.
Whether we need to just accept it or forgive, or maybe there's some kind of action that's helpful. And that I found that too to be really helpful.
Yeah. You can't experience if you're reacting to something. You can't experience it. You're reacting, right?
Yeah. But oftentimes too, if the old emotions are, I often say feel it to heal it. So just allow it to be felt, and then the answers will come too.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But it's that consciousness, knowing, okay, this is an old system. I'm here to let it go. And then you can just keep asking your guides and calling in, calling on universal law is an amazing way.
Yeah. Law of elimination.
Yeah, because that's all about really deep forgiveness, really deep. And then that changes your whole perception. Your third eye opens, and it's like you're viewing the planet as the higher realms do. The angelic perception, the ascended master's perception, where there's no judgment. There's absolutely no judgment in the higher realms. They're just watching us have these experiences.
One of the reasons I think that there's no judgment in the higher realm is because of the terrific love that they're embraced in. There's no need for judgment. You feel so absolutely tremendously wonderful. No thoughts of judgment come to the mind.
Yeah, and that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
Everybody being in that state of love, and that's balance.
Yeah, it would be.
Balance, that's attachment and detachment, that's attraction and repulsion, that's the law of elimination, which is really deep forgiveness of everything, like the mother energy forgives everything, and we're here to become reflections of her, so that no matter where we go, we're in that state for our field to explain that to other people. We don't have to walk down the street saying, okay, everybody forgive everything. Our field, if we've done the work, then our field will literally communicate that to other people. With no words.
So is the law of completion related to gratitude?
More the law of attraction and repulsion, but within the law of completion is absolutely gratitude, because the law of completion is everything. It's forgiveness, it's compassion, it's gratitude, it's everything. That's the crown chakra. And within the crown chakra is all those higher dimensional, all of it. The I am presence, Saint Germain's violet flame, the knowing of the mother and the father, divine union, the balance of the mother energy and the father energy within the self, the masculine.
Ecstasy.
Yeah,
Ecstasy.
yeah, and that's gender equality within, basically.
Oh, I had a question about gender equality.
Yes.
I was noticing, we were out and we were doing some shopping, and I was noticing some of the people that are of different ethnic groups.
Mhm.
And I was wondering if those people actually get included in what we were talking about, trying to balance the male and female.
Oh yeah, everybody's included. Absolutely. Every single being. Yeah.
You mean in the blue topaz box, Ken? Is that what you mean?
Well, to be honest, I hadn't invoked that, but I was more looking at people tonight and thinking that they might be the ones who are discriminated against because they look different, or
Mhm,
something like that,
mhm,
or they act different, or have different customs, or, ways of doing things, eating food, all that kind of thing.
mhm. Yeah, well, it's the same in the higher realms. And I think Ashira talked about this a couple classes back, where he said they don't just like the galactics all look different too. So
Oh, they do.
oh yeah,
I
Oh,
didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Like Ashira's from a race called the Hussians, and they're very cat-like. And I don't know, I don't think they have tails or anything, but they're known for being cat-like. So, and then there's races that are like praying mantises, and then there's all kinds. Yeah, yeah. So, and that's why they're like Earth is very diverse as well, because there's many groups from different planetary systems on Earth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Andromedans, the Styrians, the Pleiadians, the Venusians, the ones from CCC, the ones from Lyra. Like you can go on and on and on. Yeah.
The whales, the dogs,
Yeah.
the bears, the porpoises, dolphins,
The elephant. Yeah.
other races from Sirius.
Yeah. The dogs, the whales, the
Bears and the
bears, and the wolves, I think. Wasn't it?
no dolphins, whales, bears, and dogs.
Dogs came from Sirius.
Sirius, yes,
They were transported from Sirius.
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
Yeah. So yeah, there's very diverse here, and everyone is concluded. Everyone and everything. Mhm. So.
And this is also opening a new space where, for instance, you can now, from the seventh dimension, you can go everywhere. Well, in the old space, you couldn't. So it's an example of something that's new, right? In this new space. And so the entire universe is going to enter that new space
Mhm.
where the rules have changed, etc.
Yeah, and I think it's like us going back to original purity, because we were like that. And then we fell into disarray. We lost our lack of self-worth. We didn't we didn't love ourselves. Lack of self-love. And that barred us from the higher dimensions. And that's why I mean, it was in the last challenge that we actually put ourselves outside of the 12 dimensions in the old third. Yeah, which is, I didn't pick up on that one before. So we really mastered what doesn't work. And now we're remembering, we're just letting go of these old belief systems, remembering who we truly are, and it's done individually. So as an individual balances, it helps the whole. And that's how important doing the individual work is. Not to worry so much about what's happening out in the world, really focus on self. Balancing self and invoking the laws. And maybe I'll put up for tomorrow 13 laws with a little description about each one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
Yeah, right on.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Yep. And it's in my manual. You guys all have that manual that I gave you. It's in there too. And and the cards, it's a really helpful to pull cards, because when you pull the cards and then you look it up in the manual, I found that's the fastest way to learn universal law. Even pull the 13 laws out of the deck and just pull one a day and read up about a little bit about it. It's amazing how fast you learn. It's very cool.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, dear.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. I'm going to stop the recording right now.